There have been many amazing musicians who have pretty much completely taught themselves how to play the piano or just music in general. A great example of this is Arnold Schoenberg, who pretty much taught himself everything by reading books, looking at musical scores, and listening to music. And he was one of the greatest music theorists of the early 20th century. So yeah, it's totally possible to be a completely self-taught musician in this age where everything is available via the internet. And make sure and let me know in the comments down below if you would find it helpful for me to make a video about all of the learning resources that I know of. And remember, even the best musicians in the world who had the best teachers, it still took them years to develop the skills that we admire so much. So if you're gonna try to learn piano all on your own, without the help of a fantastic teacher, it's almost assuredly gonna take you more time and be more difficult. That being said, my goal in this video is to help you as much as possible to answer the question for you, because everyone's different. And so to do that, I have 5 questions that you can ask yourself and try to answer in order to figure out if teaching yourself is really viable or if it might be better to get a teacher. So question number 1 is, what am I trying to learn/accomplish? And this is super important because it's impossible to learn anything unless you know what you're trying to accomplish. You're gonna go about things very differently if you're trying to, for instance, learn every major scale, or if you're trying to just learn one pop song that you really like. You can see how understanding what it is essentially that you're trying to accomplish will guide you to know what you need to learn and how you need to go about doing it. Now, the second question that you need to ask yourself is it practical to accomplish these things on your own or at this point in your journey as a musician? Sometimes we set goals for ourselves that are just not really practical, and so you need to be able to ask yourself at every step of your musical journey, is this really practical for me to take on, or am I missing steps, things that I need to learn before I can move on to this new goal? Now, the third question that you need to ask yourself is, what tools or resources are available to me? And this is super important because if all you're doing is going on YouTube and watching the occasional piano tutorial, it's probably not going to be that effective because there's so many other resources and things that you need to develop at the keyboard. Now, question number 4 is, if I have problems, how am I going to solve those problems? And basically the idea here is that if you're, say, struggling with working with the metronome, and no matter what you do, you can't seem to get it to sound better, you can't play with the metronome, you can't get those rhythms to really fit in, most of the time what people do is they just give up. So you need to have a good strategy for addressing problems when you have them. Now, question number 5 is, how do you know what you don't know? And basically the idea here is that if you don't have a background in music, you don't know what information is out there, and so you're not gonna know if you're missing vital pieces of information that's gonna help you be a better musician, play the piano better, and understand music better. So you have to have some sort of way to know if you're missing information or if you're skipping steps that are gonna be really important in helping you play better or understand music better. Now, I think that if you can answer these questions and really think through them critically, you'll do very well learning on your own, because these are the things that you need to think about, because you're not gonna have a teacher there to lead you through this educational journey. So you have to think like a teacher. You have to think, what do I need to know in order to learn this, and so on and so forth.